Today we're going to be taking a comprehensive look at one of Lethal Company's most dangerous creatures, the eyeless dog. This guide is going to cover concepts ranging from basic information all the way to super advanced hidden strategies that no one knows about. By far the most important thing to understand about the eyeless dog is that they are, in fact, as the name suggests, blind. But with that blindness comes an acute sense of hearing. If they hear something, they will begin to investigate the area in which the sound came from. If the noise continues or another sound is made while they are investigating, they will become enraged and attempt to kill whatever it is that made the sound, even if it's not alive. Eyeless dogs can spawn outside on any moon, typically after 3 p.m. The later it gets in the day, the more likely they are to spawn, unless the moon is eclipsed, in which case they can spawn before you even land. Although they have the lowest spawn chance on the moon's March and Vow. Eyeless dogs will instantly kill the player if they come in contact with their mouths and take 12 hits from the shovel to kill. Eyeless dogs are one of the few monsters that can chase players onto the ship. And before you think to try and barricade the entrance of your ship using furniture, eyeless dogs can walk through any player-placed object. There are 3 main types of strategies when it comes to managing eyeless dogs in Lethal Company, ranging from avoiding them, distracting them, or my personal favorite, killing them. Starting with avoiding them, the simplest strategy is to crouch and stop talking when you hear or see an eyeless dog nearby. You still need to be careful that they don't randomly wander into you, and you also need to be careful that the items in your inventory are not producing any noise, such as the toy robot or teeth. And for those of us with sensitive mics, enable push to talk or the clicking of your keys might spell your demise. Outside of moving while crouched, eyeless dogs can hear you do almost anything, such as dropping an item, smacking the ground with a shovel, clicking on and off your flashlight, and obviously, walking, running, and talking. The louder you are, the further they can hear from, with running and yelling almost instantly enraging them. But an important tip is that they cannot hear you while you are jumping. Unfortunately, avoiding eyeless dogs is sometimes easier said than done. Eyeless dogs are most problematic when combined with other variables, such as weather conditions, forest giants, or earth leviathans. Sneaking away from eyeless dogs is simple enough, but if there happens to be a giant chasing you at the same time, it tends to complicate things. If you do happen to enrage an eyeless dog and find yourself near the ship, you can either shut the ship's doors or climb on top of the ship where they can't reach you. The doors won't stay closed forever though, and try to be quiet if you have any crewmates inside the ship, as noise made while on top of the ship will attract dogs to the inside of the ship. If you remain quiet, the dogs should eventually wander off unless you made a ton of noise for a long time, in which case they will remain enraged for quite some time. If you enrage the doggos and are not near the ship, your best bet is to strafe left or right as they run towards you. If you successfully juke them, go back to crouching and sneak out of the area, and eventually they should calm down. Now, when it comes to distracting eyeless dogs, there are a number of strategies. One of my personal favorites is to purchase a cheap item like a walkie-talkie from the store and let the noise produced from the item dropship distract the dogs while your crewmates go to and from the ship. Just keep in mind that the store dropship song is extremely loud and long. It will pull eyeless dogs from very far away and cause them to remain enraged for a long time. This strategy is particularly good on Titan, where dogs often patrol directly in front of the ship. Some other less effective forms of distraction are manually baiting eyeless dogs away from the ship using your voice and sneaking in the direction you want to bait them. You should wait until they stop searching for you between calling out to them. You can use the radar beacon's ping command to distract eyeless dogs, although I don't really recommend doing this since radar beacons cost 60 credits a pop and require someone to ping them on the terminal. You can also use a boombox, robot toy, chattering teeth, a whoopee cushion, or a thrown stun grenade to distract them. And if for some reason you wanted to enrage all the dogs and attract them to the front of the ship, you could buy and use the loud horn ship upgrade. And finally, on to the best ways of dealing with eyeless dogs, in my opinion, killing them. There are multiple ways of killing eyeless dogs. The most obvious, but by no means the most effective, is to grab a zap gun, get 3 of your buddies to get shovels, and beat it to death as you stun it. Although I can't promise everyone will survive. Yeah! There's another one! There's another one! Another good way to kill eyeless dogs is during stormy weather conditions. You can carry around a metallic object such as a shovel and sneak up to an eyeless dog. When the object starts to build up static electricity, indicating that lightning will soon strike, you can drop it, causing the dog to investigate the sound, and if timed correctly, the lightning will strike while the dog is atop the object, instantly killing it. Similarly, but much more difficult, is to use the Earth Leviathan or Worm to kill eyeless dogs. I'll be honest, this is more of a flex move than a consistent strategy. You could also attempt to roleplay as a matador and strafe the eyeless dogs when they lunge at you, landing one shovel hit at a time, but this takes a long time and is quite dangerous. Unfortunately, most of these aforementioned killing strategies rely on some kind of outside factor, such as weather conditions or having multiple crewmates. And they're all pretty dangerous, but fear not, for I have developed the most consistent, reliable, easy strategy to quickly kill dogs on any moon by yourself. Here is how to perform the dog kennel. As of Update 47, shovels were changed to be able to more consistently hit monsters around objects, which has made this new strategy possible. Basically, you grab a shovel, get an eyeless dog within earshot of the ship, hop on top of the ship, and yell at it until it runs inside the ship. You are then going to drop down to this ledge on the side without the ladder and hit the ship with your shovel while standing until the dog is in this position with its head sticking through the wall. Then, while standing, swing your shovel aiming to the left corner of this railing. If done correctly, you will be able to hit and kill the eyeless dog inside the ship while being completely safe yourself. Now, there is some variance to this strategy, and there's a lot of little details that are important to keep track of. The most common complication being if there are multiple dogs inside the ship at the same time. If this happens, they will body block each other, which will prevent you from positioning them correctly to where you can quickly kill them. If you're ever dealing with 2 or more dogs in the dog kennel at the same time, you need to crouch and aim at a closer angle looking left and right while walking from edge to edge along the ledge. As the dogs run around trying to eat you, you will get stray hits off, and while this will take a bit more time, it is still very consistent. Just be careful not to fall off the ledge since their bodies will attempt to push you off. When you get back down to one doggo, stand back up and hit the ship in different spots to reposition the dog's head to where you can hit it like before. Now onto some other potential issues. Anything that makes noise, such as chattering teeth, whoopee cushions, robot toys, or other monster corpses like a snare flea you teleported back to the ship, can all potentially make it more difficult to position the dogs. So be sure they are either making no noise, are off of the ship, or are in a corner where they can't be reached. Another very important thing to note is that this strategy works on every moon except for Dine, because the terrain surrounding the ship on that moon is much more elevated for some reason, and the dogs can reach you on this ledge from the outside. Another issue is forest giants. If they see you eradicating the local dog population, they will get very upset and come to the aid of their furry friends to try and eat you, in which case, you will be in a bit of a tight spot since the ship has now become a dog kennel and is no longer safe. So be sure to teleport bait any giants very far away from the ship before attempting this strat. And it should go without saying that stormy weather conditions make this a bit harder, but still possible. You can even leave the shovel on the ledge and let the lightning kill the dogs inside the ship. Also, if you are standing on the far right end of the ledge, there is a small chance that when a dog is running into the ship, they can reach you with their mouths. So just make sure to be in the middle or left when dogs are running inside. The dog kennel strat is particularly useful if you have someone who stays on the ship to communicate using walkie-talkies and help out on the terminal. Normally, if a dog wandered too close to the player on the ship, they would need to stop talking through the walkie, but now you can just kill it and return to your walkie-talkie duties. There is one other spot where you can kill dogs with a shovel where they will be powerless to eat you, and that is on the moon Titan. About halfway up the staircase, there is a light fixture you can jump on and hit the dogs from below, and provided you remain crouched, they can't get you. This spot is really nice because giants also can't get you here, and masked men can't either. Unlike the dog kennel strat, this spot worked even on Update 45. And while, to my understanding, I'm the first one to showcase the dog kennel strategy, I've got to give credit where credit is due. A random player I played with once named Snip Snap, I think, showed me this spot on Titan, so big ups to my boy Snip Snap. Thanks for watching, and be sure to let me know what Lethal Company monster you'd like to see me break down next. Also, check out my Twitch where I stream Lethal Company daily. What the hell is going on?